Great. Hey, everyone. We decided to put Sivan to bed, but then she decided she did not want to go to bed, and I had no recourse but to continue to put her on my vlog. So therefore, we're going to talk about another series. This one, we're going to talk about a TV series that we discovered that we both watch. This one is called Once Upon a Time, which is an ABC series. I have seen about 1.5 seasons, maybe 2.
I have seen all 7.
All 7.
Very good. Have some ups and downs moments. Basically, before I get started, follow my TikTok account, which is SivanSavoy.
We have no commercial integrity anymore. Okay, so Once Upon a Time, this is a really interesting series in which there is a town with amnesia, and they're all like characters from fairy tales. I like to call them public domain fairy tales because probably no one owns the rights to any of these things. Do you know what that means?
No.
Anything that was written over 72 years old is something that no one owns. So, like, if you wrote, like, The Hunger Games, that's something that someone wrote recently. But, like, the person who wrote Little Red Riding Hood, that was written in the 1500s, I think.
Okay.
So, like, all of these characters are extremely old. Even Disney.
So basically,
Disney probably doesn't own their rights. Disney does own their rights. But Disney owns ABC, so if you were like Mickey Mouse, then that would work. My sister's giving me the "you're being boring" signal, so let's continue with.
He's not a professional YouTuber. I'm a professional TikTok.
That is true. I'm not a professional.
I'm a professional TikTok.
Well,
so follow my TikTok, SivanSavoy. Now let's get into the video. Before you guys do this, leave a like down below. And I know you might not like him, but you are giving me the like. And if you subscribe, you're also giving me the subscription. So do it for me.
Okay. I'm honestly don't even know if I'm a YouTuber who will get more than one view outside my immediate family. But let's continue. Let's pretend that people will watch this and continue on.
Hi guys.
So, Sivan,
listen to the millions of people.
I'm not a professional, but I know that one key to making YouTube videos is you have to actually talk and not laugh during the video. So let's try to do that. Let's talk about Once Upon a Time.
Okay.
So
my favorite thing about it was that there was a lot of characters.
Just make up your own question and answer it. Go for it. Go for it. Go. What did you like about it?
What's your favorite part of Once Upon a Time? Oh, I loved how it had so much character development. Because basically, it had like so many different characters. And what I really liked is it unfolded itself slowly. There were tons and tons of characters. It just, you got so into every person constantly. It wasn't boring, but it was not overwhelming.
So, this is a film that has, I guess you could say this is a film that has a very large ensemble. It's
definitely.
And it sort of rotates between characters each week. So, in a sense, you might call it serialized. Serialized is a film that, it's both serialized and it has an arc. Serialized means, where it switches every week, right?
Yeah.
It switches the character, so it's like a story of the week. You know why they do that?
To get money?
Yes, from a business perspective, it has a syndication appeal. Which means that if you watch the show 3 years from now, and you haven't watched every show, you can maybe tune into a single episode and you'll see the story of that one character. And that 1 hour of TV is going to be entertaining enough. There are shows like Lost and 24 where you can't do that anymore.
It's very
But this is a show, I have seen like random episodes. I saw like the Little Red Riding Hood episode, and it was just a self-contained story from start to finish.
It was very big, because I feel like every character's been through so much. And if you've seen our Frozen 2 review, or if you've not seen it, go check it out. But basically,
let's not advertise let's go a minute without advertising something. Can we do that?
What I mean is, like, we're saying a lot about how, like, things could be overwhelming. It was not overwhelming, and it's so many characters and things, but somehow it's like you remember. And you end up, like, that was my favorite thing, and it's like people, like, they come from good to bad, and it wasn't cheesy, and they did go back, like, I did say in Frozen 2, where it's like, they go back and forth and they add stuff, so they did a lot of that, but somehow it all just, like, fit together with character development, which was really cool.
Yeah, I agree. I think that I also think it was kind of shot very well. It's shot a little bit like a horror movie, like a Stephen King film, which is fitting because Stephen King's from Maine. I don't know if you've ever seen a Stephen King film. You probably will at some point.
We're not advertising for Stephen King, remember? That was
I don't think he needs the money.
Yeah, he's going to get way more views on anything he posts than we are on this.
Well, he's a book writer, but it kind of has this like shady thing where you where things are dark. It's a small town, and you can and so. I think it's shot very well, and I think what I also love is that if you look at the costumes, like Little Red Riding Hood, if I remember, she was like wearing red in a lot of her scenes, and she didn't know she was Little Red Riding Hood, but the costume department sort of put hints inside her character.
Yeah, it's a good point. there was so much like different things, and I feel like there was always something going on that it was so addicting. There's always something, like whether they solve one solution, and it wasn't like annoying, like okay, there's now this problem, and then the second they solve it, this problem. It wasn't too many problems. And even in episodes where there weren't a problem, it was always just like it was either there was a lot of flashbacks.
Well, it is a show of flashbacks. Yeah, the flashbacks in this show are used extremely well because there are two stories always being told at the same time.
Exactly, that's what I loved. There's like the past story and the future story.
There's a story because a character in the Red Riding Hood story, the present story was that Little Riding Hood wanted to leave for town or something, and she had a restaurant to co-manage with her grandmother. In a past story, Little Riding Hood was like being wooed by a person. There wasn't a wolf in it, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah, basically.
And she was like, I guess like someone was trying to free her from a prison. I don't remember. There's a lot of these stories.
Yeah, but it was really cool, and then it affects the character development. Everyone like.
What's also wonderful is like how bad of a villain I think, or a good of a villain. I thought the mayor of the town was like really juicy villain. Like it
was cool, but basically there's even more to it. That's just season 1 that we're discussing in the town,
1.
And then everything changes, and now it's like they're going to different things, and they just kept introducing characters. There was always something, and then there's like they go down in hell, which is called like the underworld, and then they go to all these different places, like in the future and the past. You're meeting all the characters. Every person's always like wanting something. They bring in like Cruella de Vil and all those people, and then when they die,
did they do Jafar and like Aladdin characters?
Yes, and then like when that's not enough, and then like in the beginning you see them, and then you just keep seeing them, and it wasn't like cheesy. So I would definitely recommend it.
Yeah, I think it is really good. I don't know if it carries like season to season. It's hard to watch something for 7 full seasons, but I very much enjoyed the first season, and I'm watching some of the second and third, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, pause for a second.
No, pause. Actually, we're up to 7. I actually said we'd keep this at 7 minutes because we don't want to go over it. The key to YouTube success is
very boring.
All right, yes. We will like actually after 7.5 minutes we like melt like guys in Raiders of the Lost Ark. So we should stop. I've been talking. Can you press the red button?